All right, so let's go take a look at our Fulgora ship. Our Fulgora ship right now in its schedule is waiting for... This is a great alarm. Delete the alarm, delete the 2 centrifuges, and delete this box. That is going to send all the shinies up. We can also delete the boxes that are handing them around here, I suppose. Perfect. Now, once the uranium is done, which we just heard, you are going to get your uranium is done stamp, and you are going to put the biolab one right here.
Pay attention, man.
And you are going to put the uranium fuel one right here. Very easy. Just find the 2 stamps that are exactly what I said. Biolabs here, fuel here, stamp them in. This alarm is for Fulgora speed 1s. So if you remember, I told you the first stamp for Fulgora, the main base 5, had an alarm. This is telling us that speed 1s are done. We can force stamp in 5 now, which is going to start making speed 2s. Otherwise, we can ignore it. The Fulgora ship, which we were looking at earlier, so it has conditions in it that once it's got its 4 EM plants and a passenger, it starts going to Novice. It is then going to drop its EM plants and head to Vulcanus. So this ship is the one that is designed to take us to Vulcanus. Otherwise, we can just ignore it for now. The Gleba ship is sitting at Gleba. It is waiting for science, which it has, and another shipment of bioflux and carbon fiber. Again, I turned the alarm off earlier. If you feel like it's better for you to have that alarm on so that you hear it and don't forget, feel free. This should now start sending this stuff once we launch it. Okay, let's look at tech. So I believe that, no, not that. Biolabs is researchable now. We do want to research that. And it's researchable because of what we set up here. We've got this running. And so now Biolabs should start coming out. Our Vulcanus ship is moving. Our White 2 ship is now something we're going to want to worry about. So on Novice, in the rocket launch books, there's an Aquilo loader section after Vulcanus. We are going to stamp these in. Aquilo loader 1, Aquilo loader 2, Aquilo loader 3, Aquilo loader 4, Aquilo loader 5, Aquilo loader 6, Aquilo loader 7, and Aquilo loader 8. We're going to deliver these up. They are ordered specifically that you'll get the cargo bays first. Make sure these go to the right ship. White 2 Aquilo. Cargo bays are the more important thing right away because we're about to stretch the storage on this like crazy. Okay, I'm going to do a slight audible here. You should not have to do this in your run, but I accidentally sent stuff down I didn't mean to earlier when I was dropping asteroids from the White Science ship. The easiest way I'm going to say to fix that is to ship White Science stuff back up. So White Science 1 and 2. It's just going to have some mix of furnaces and efficiency modules, which I think we need some of, so I'm just going to fix it that way. You shouldn't need to do that, though, if you don't make a mistake. Let's go back to the Aquilo loader. I've stamped 8. I want to now do 9 and 10, which are the final ones, and then I want to set the rest of these to automatic. The alarm that's happening right now is Fulgora. Speed 2s are done. So again, you were at 5. 1 sec. There's a lot of alarms. So on Fulgora, we were at 5. An alarm is telling us to stamp 6. So I'm going to force stamp in 6. That should bring in this, which is going to place speed 2s, and it's going to reset all of these to quality 1s. Okay? Let's go back to the White 2 Aquilo ship. This ship is banging at us, telling us to stamp loader 2. The reason for that is it's loaded water into these tanks, which is it saying we have enough stuff here to generate power. It also has a reactor that is getting heat. Before I do that, I'm going to just deliver this stuff up. So White 2 Aquilo, deliver to White 2 Aquilo, deliver to White 2 Aquilo, deliver to White 2 Aquilo. I'm going to set all of these to auto. Oh, there's so many alarms. EM plants on Novice. Okay. When the EM plants arrive at Novice, you can delete the alarm, go into your blueprint book, and you can stamp 17. This is basically the stamp that is going to set up module prod 2 production here. Okay, so EM plants have arrived. We've stamped the next base. The Fulgora ship is heading to Vulcanus, which it's supposed to do. As the player, you should set a drop to Vulcanus so that you know for a fact when you get there, you'll get an alert. Let's go back to Gleba. We forgot to ship this stuff to the Gleba ship. Reset this to auto. You always want to keep an eye on your ship list. You want them moving and not standing still unless they're standing still for a reason. So just keep checking this. It's the easiest way to tell. Fulgora ship is bringing us to Vulcanus. The Vulcanus ship is already here with the material. We're good in that respect. Novice is sending a bunch of stuff to the Aquilo loader right now. The Aquilo loader is here and the alarm has already gone to stamp the next phase. When I go into my ships, after the Aquilo loader 1, there's Aquilo loader 2. I'm going to force stamp Aquilo loader 2 in. It is going to build out the rest of this. This now has heat and it has water and it is getting water barrels. We want to put the ammo building request on right here. That is going to allow this to start making ammo for our trip to Aquilo. While we are building Vulcanus, this is going to be prepping our ammo on our Aquilo ship. Also notice that biolabs, I think they're frozen because I've been really late with this Gleba ship. This Gleba shipment should be bringing us enough of science to finish the biolab research. All right, Fulgora, we've got a quality 2s on Fulgora that are ready. So let's go to Fulgora. Let's grab our print. And this is the 7 alarm. I'm going to force stamp this in. And that is going to put in our last stamp on Fulgora. On Novice, we have prod 2s done. Now, these EM plants have only been running for like 5 seconds. So you might be wondering, like, how are they done prod 2s so fast? It's only because we're going so slow. After that, you could stamp in force stamp 18. So force stamp 18 in. That should switch these to making speed 2s. And then once enough speed 2s are done, you'll get the same alarm. Again, if you are going fast, these things will need to run longer. But because we're really slow, we have way more prod 2s than we would normally expect at this point. Okay, we've reached Vulcanus, the final planet on the inner ring. Let's go to the Vulcanus ship and make sure that we drop everything we need to drop. So again, it's the same logic you have at every single planet. Just don't drop things the ship needs. So if the ship doesn't need it, you are dropping it. So you can pretty much cut until you see repair packs, skip, and then cut again until you see iron ore, skip, plates, steel, don't drop carbon, don't drop gears and circuits, get the fuel, LDS, frames, all the armor stuff the player wants, the electric engines, and the blue circuits, the red chips. And then what I typically do here is I just drop a little bit of gear and circuits and leave enough for the ship to have the rest. Perfect. That ship is done. This Vulcanus ship is going to stay here with us until we are ready for it again. The Vulcanus ship, or sorry, the Fulgora ship is waiting for 2 minutes and the passenger not being here. You shouldn't need to drop anything from this ship. It's just going to drop you off and leave, and that's fine. On Vulcanus, pick up everything. The first thing you're going to want to do on Vulcanus is you're going to want to fix your armor and turn off trash unrequested if you still have it on. So empty out your old armor, put on new armor, legs, batteries, reactors, and roboports. Whatever order you want to make, this is what you want your armor. You want 6 legs, 6 batteries, 2 personal roboports, and 2 reactors. You can then go into the book and get the Vulcanus book. You should look at your screenshot if you have one. I can see that in this case on Vulcanus, all of the stuff is, so generally you've got the coal in the middle, which is here. And then you'll have your calcite and your sulfuric acid in one direction from the coal. In this case, it is to the north. So I'm going to come up to the north. I'm going to grab my Vulcanus book. And the first one I'm going to want to place is power. Point the chem plant towards the sulfuric acid, roughly as close as you can. For handcrafting, you are going to craft 20 construction bots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything else into logistics bots. That is your bots done. you're going to craft one offshore pump. One offshore pump. And then 12 iron chests. That should be all the crafting that ever happens on this planet. That's it. Okay, rocket turrets are done. Let's delete the rocket turret assembler. Speed 2s on Novice are done. Okay, with speed 2s done, we can delete the EM plants that are here, as well as all of the boxes and inserters and stuff that they dropped. That whole section can just be deleted. Okay, back to Vulcanus. So, we want 7 pump jacks placed on sulfuric acid. Novice speed 2's done. Why did that happen? Delete the alarm. I forgot to delete the alarm. So on Vulcanus, there's almost nothing you have to handcraft. It's a very, very easy planet. Almost everything should be here for you. Connect pump jacks to sulfuric. Bring sulfuric to the chem plant making power. Place a roboport next to it. Bring power up to calcite. The next stamp in your book should be the calcite drills. Place a roboport here. You should now have roboport connection between your calcite and your power chem plant. Tap a few calcite and bring it down to this chem plant and manually put it in. Grab your Logibots and release them. Place down one chest. A yellow one is fine. Put in a bunch of random stuff. If you just want to copy what I'm doing, it's perfectly fine. You're just trying to remove things you don't need in order to make space in your inventory so that you can go around collecting rocks. You are now going to go around and collect rocks. So what I do is I put the tungsten ore on my bar so I see how much I have. You need 1,000. Yes, this is moving really slowly, but it will be done by the time you've picked up 1,000 tungsten ore. So all you're doing right now is running around Vulcanus until you have 1,000 tungsten ore. Notice that biolabs have finished researching. So once biolabs are researched, if we take a look at the research queue, if there's nothing critical in this list, which at the moment there is not, you can stamp on Novice force stamp number 19. This is going to place biolabs, and it is going to clean up all of the old labs. You are no longer going to receive science unless it is from a biolab. You can now queue up the rest of the military related science. So you're going to want bullet damage at 7. That is the last one. And the explosives go to 6 and then stop there before you go into the gleba science. As far as our ships, the gleba ship is almost at gleba, so we'll be able to ship from there in a second. The alarm should tell us. So it's stopping right now. Once it reaches 0 speed, we should hear an alarm. And then we can go here and deliver this to gleba. And I'm going to do that load one more time. We're going to do 2 loads on this last shipment of flux and carbon fiber. Throughout the entirety of the run, your objective is to do 4 of these mix loads total. That's 400 carbon fiber and 3,600 bioflux. And again, like the more you can multitask, the better. I'm barely multitasking at all throughout this tutorial. I'm going through as many little things as I possibly can, one thing at a time. Okay, this happens every time you do Vulcanus. Not a big deal. Your inventory fills, craft as many stone furnaces as you can, and keep going. And then eventually it'll happen again. We're almost done. We're at 760 tungsten ore. Again, we're trying to get this number to 1,000. Okay, so my inventory's screwed again. Take the 50 or so furnaces that you made, slam them out everywhere, and then take ore and slam it in wherever you can. And then just keep making furnaces, and there, your inventory is clean again. Just like that. Okay, we're at 1,000. Again, if you want to clean your inventory one more time, spray these, fill them. Yep. Perfect. All right, we have 1,000. We're going to go back up where we were. And now we're going to grab our... Let me just check the gleba ship here real quick. I can mute that alarm now because I'm done with it. Gleba has done its 2 launches. It's doing auto. Sorry, I'm getting a little automated here. I'm just checking to make sure all my ships are doing what they're supposed to do So it's a good idea to make sure every single planet is just has their thing on auto. Same with Fulgora, like these are not on auto, flip them to auto. When this ship arrives, it's going to try to auto ship science, which you want. All right, grab your Vulcanus book. The next stamp down is the main base 1. You can compare it to main base 2 if you feel like you're gonna build on top of something, but it's relatively easy to avoid. So main base 1, I'm gonna put here. Your goal is that this line right here reaches coal easily. So the next stamp is the coal belts. Just place them directly under that. And they're gonna bring coal up into that belt on the side. Once that's done, you need to connect power up to your power, and you need to bring the pipe of sulfuric acid down. You probably left a box full of stuff. Pick it up. Open up your sulfuric pipe and bring sulfuric down this way. Like that. And again, if you want to help the bots, feel free to help the bots wherever you need to. Just waiting for this to get built. Oh, and make sure your robo connection reaches everything, because you're going to need calcite brought down here later. So just make sure that your robo network is touching. Once all of this is built, the purpose of this is to make as much tungsten carbide as possible. You're going to take all the tungsten ore, fill it into these assemblers and these 2 iron chests. This is now going to make tungsten carbide while you connect this red belt to the tungsten patch. Again, you should have a screenshot and know exactly where you're going. I am going to go to the north, which is pretty far, but it looks like the best tungsten I can get. You should have well more than enough red belt to go to a nearby tungsten patch. I have not yet had it rip a run, and I certainly hope it does not happen. There's no undergrounds though, so plan your trip carefully. You will have to weasel through the canyons. I like doing this in terms of like routing. I like doing this now while the carbide is being crafted, because I find there is a certain mental load to getting this belt dragged. It's not like a complete gimme. You actually have to think. And later on, you're going to remake this trip, but at that point, you're doing it really quickly and easily with no mental load. I like to get rid of the mental load now. All right, so we're at the tungsten. Clear a space. In your Vulcanus book, the next thing should be the drills. You need 2 of these drill stamps. It does not matter where they go as long as they completely touch tungsten. Get them fully built. Make sure power connects between the 2 of them. I keep it in 2 separate stamps because it's a little safer in case your tungsten patch is a weird shape. Connect them like that. Connect them to that belt. Now we have 2 fully built stamps with power that works, and we're going to bring power back down with us. Once we get back down here, all of our tungsten carbide probably will be turned, all of our tungsten ore will be turned into carbide by that point, and we should be able to move on to the next phase of Vulcanus. All right, so let's do Vulcanus. We can pick up all the carbide from here. When we do that, we're also going to pick up the chests, and you're going to pick up these 2 chests here. You're going to need every single one of them. Find a clear space, and if you have to clear something like I am now, do it. Go to your Vulcanus stamp, and you're going to put in the lube foundry maker. Very important that you do this carefully. If you screw up this and run out of lube, your run will die, or you'll take a long time fixing it. Put the 4 lube barrels in here. Go to this assembler and fill it. Once it is crafting, completely empty it immediately. This assembler must create exactly 1 foundry and not more. This is very important. Done. Once it has made 1 foundry, pick it up and make this foundry. Fill it now. This foundry should make another 6 foundries. It will use exactly all of your refined concrete. exactly all of your refined concrete. 6 foundries. Once you have confirmed that this has made 6 foundries, and only when it has made 6, you can pick this up, and now you can create the next stamp. So force stamp this in. Make sure this has RoboPort connection, and then you're going to start connecting pipe. This needs sulfuric acid on the power, and then this side is going to need to touch lava. Go in the direction of the closest lava. You should have a ton of pipe in order to do this. Should not be at any risk of not having enough pipe. And you should have the one offshore pump you crafted earlier. So now you have your lava connected here. You've got this entire build done. It's got sulfuric. It is requesting calcite at the boxes because you connected a RoboPort. This last box at the top needs all of your brick. That is going to be turned into concrete. This assembler, alarms really get in the way of a tutorial. This assembler is for the big drills. You're just going to manually fill this until this has made 16 drills. You should not need to count because it's going to use all of the drills that you brought to the planet and it won't be able to make any more. But if you wanted a very accurate count, you're trying to make 16 big drills. Again, it will use all the small drills you brought, and you should not need to count this in a super precious or careful way. Once it is done, you can empty everything out of it, see that it has made 16, switch the recipe on this to steel. Now that this is making steel, we're going to run north with the big drills that we just picked up. And while we're running up here, we're making concrete and steel. Okay. The concrete and steel is to make our silo. I am losing it. It's to make our silo. So while that stuff is cooking, come up here and get these drills running. It's faster to do this yourself than to wait for bots. So just do it yourself. Done. Run back down. And by the time we get back down here, we should be relatively close to done our concrete and our steel. The things we need to handcraft is a silo and the landing pad. Okay, let's deal with the edge ship alarm. So this wants us to stamp our edge ship. What does that mean? This means that this has created all the ammo that we need for the entire run. Ammo is done. Okay, so given that ammo is done, we're going to start deconstructing the left side of the ship. So literally this entire section, we're going to deconstruct it, as well as this little hole right here. Pretty much anything that's not bolted down, we're picking it up. This entire section here, you're going to leave the water barrels. You're going to take out all of the excess power on the right and all of the excess power on the south. The only power that's left is going to be on the left-hand side. Once you've deconstructed the ship and it looks roughly like this, you're going to get your edge ship, and you are going to force stamp your edge ship into existence. And you can pick up any extra platform that might exist around the corners if you feel like it's worth your time. Once your edge ship is stamped, go to Novice and your silos, and in your launches, you should have an Aquilo main base section. Main base 1, main base 2, main base 3, main base 4, main base 5, main base 6, main base 7, main base 8. That is going to start loading those with stuff the Aquilo base needs on its main base. Also, random aside, when this turret has launched its 2 bot rockets, you can pick it up. This turret is meant to be deconstructed and sent back. On Vulcanus, we've got concrete, we've got steel. All we need is enough to make a platform and a landing pad. Once those 2 things have been crafted, deconstruct all of these foundries. Deconstruct all of the iron chests and the blue arms. The chem plants, the yellow arms, the blue chests. All the red arms, you can leave these stone chests here because they're super full and it's annoying. You can then come over to the Vulcanus base. You can get your Vulcanus print and you can stamp Vulcanus main base 2 with a force stamp if needed. It's very common that you may not have enough yellow belt to build this section if your coal was far away. If that's the case, use red belt. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you have all the inserters that you picked up earlier. You'll notice I'm missing, I think, some blue inserters. Did I? Oh, I missed 3 blue inserters here. It is precisely counted. You need every single inserter correctly. Once this is fully built, the only thing we need to connect to this is the lava that we brought earlier. So let's bring this down here to the lava. That's not lava. Flush that. That's me making a mistake. I hear the alarm. I'll get it in a second. Lava. Perfect. Lava connects to the back of this. This is in robo range to receive calcite. This is going to kickstart this system, and now it is on. Right now, our concern is getting everything off of Vulcanus up into the sky. So we've got a ship sitting over Vulcanus, and it's going to receive 4 rocket launches. Come and grab 500 calcite minimum. Bring it to your silo. In your landing pad, put your fuel, your blue circuits, and your LDS. Feel free to manually load some of that stuff here because the inserter won't keep up, but if you manually load it, it's fine. Put the rest over here. This is going to send 500 calcite as its first shipment. The next thing you're going to want to do is come over to one of these science assemblers and manually pull everything out of it on purpose until you have 150 carbide and 60 of the tungsten plates. All I'm doing is holding left control and just spamming click. There we go. Capture bot rockets are done. So if I go to Novice, I can delete, 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 delete. And Biolab should follow soon after. So again, we're trying to just have 150 carbide and 60 of the tungsten plates. Now that we have that, we're done. You can put down a yellow chest, fill it with anything you think the base may need. If you're a little tight on storage, dump a bunch of other random shit away. Okay. So the yellow chest, I don't care where you put it. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you give it the carbide and the tungsten plates. That's all that you need to give it. Deliver this calcite to Vulcanus and then go into your rocket launch book. You should have, before the Aquilo main base section, a tungsten mixed load. Stamp that here. It should automatically fill with the correct balance of science and tungsten. Give your construction bots away and then dump everything else you have so you can dump the rest of these iron chests and fill it with whatever you don't need, and then the rest in the yellow chest. The point is to empty out your inventory again. Let's go to Fulgora. There's a bunch of checklist items we now need to get to Novice in order to research Aquilo. So on Fulgora, and there should be an alarm that sounds very soon. We're waiting for Fulgora to have 300 uncommon holmium. There are 2 launches that you can do here. There is the holmium mix load and the quality 2 load. Put the quality 2 load in, and then there will be an alarm to tell you when the holmium mix load can go. Back to Vulcanus. This ship is good to go. I'm going to deliver it to Vulcanus. And then I am going to get on the last ship myself. So again, 4 launches off of Vulcanus. 500 calcite, tungsten mix load, the player. So the player himself is going to travel up to the Vulcanus ship. And then you can set this to auto. And then after that, after you've sent the 3 shipments, including the player, you can come up to the Vulcanus ship and set the auto request so that it will request the last science pack for you, and then it'll take care of itself.